When is it door, not a door?
When it's the
Here's your new
jaw.
grandbaby. Oh gosh. Sophia.
Why do we go to bed? Because the bed will not come to us. If the letter D were not used more, why would it be like a dead man? Because it would be deceased. That's it for today, folks.
Still enough to move from that spot.
Johnson County endured frequent conflict both before and during the Civil War. Some called it the War of the Rebellion. Some called it the War to preserve the Union. Regardless of what it was called, Johnson County's location along the frontier of Western settlement ensured an atmosphere of strife. Residents held mixed loyalties and differing political views. Most of the county's fighting was of the guerrilla type. This commonly consisted of Confederate partisan operations against Union occupation troops and federal countermeasures against guerrillas. Whether one was called a guerrilla or a partisan ranger depended upon allegiance. Outlaw elements on both sides, as well as the anti-slavery Union troops, or Jayhawkers from Kansas, intensified hostilities. Jayhawkers raided pro-slavery settlements in western Missouri in retaliation for pre-war raids that Missourians held in Kansas. 1861 found Johnson County men choosing sides and manning military units. In February, Emory Foster created a volunteer union company nicknamed the Red Shirt Company. Ironically, this company often drilled with Francis M. Cockrell's Confederate Company. Locals faced one another during General Sterling Price's Lexington campaign for control of Missouri. Union General John Pope's victorious exhibition defending rebels in Johnson County also gave local troops of both armies valuable experience. That experience led to daily skirmishing in 1862, with at least 75 known war-related deaths. Most of the fighting was between guerrilla bands, such as Quantrell and the locally raised 7th Missouri State Militia. The most notable events of 1862 were the extensive Kansas Jayhawker raids on western Johnson County in January and the fierce Battle of Lone Jack in August. In 1863, authorities were forced to stop the activities of unauthorized Eastern Johnson County militia. Union sympathizers organized to protect their own lives and property and inflict punishment upon Southern sympathizers. In August, Quantrell gathered nearly 200 men in the community of Columbus. They rode west to burn and loot Lawrence, Kansas. In October, Confederate Colonel Joe Shelby's battered force crossed the county during his retreat south after staging one of the war's longest cavalry raids. In 1864, Union troops suffered bitter defeats, and the destruction of Lieutenant James B. Couch's patrol in April, and the Parman massacre in June, which resulted in the deaths of 12 militiamen. Local violence reached a crescendo in October as Pierce's long-awaited invasion force passed through en route to its eventual defeat at the Battle of Westport near Kansas City. Die-hard elements kept fighting into 1865. In May, weeks after the war was officially over, a huge, large band of bushwhackers attacked and robbed Kingsville and Holden. For most residents of Johnson County, open conflict ended in July of 1865 when Union Command restored control of remaining agencies and facilities to local officials. The war was over, but memories of the harsh years lingered and created a sense of anxiety among the populace. For many, the shadows of war stretched into future generations.
Oh, where is that boy? Boy, your appearance reveals the want of a father's care. What does your father follow for a living?
He's a Methodist by trade, and he don't work at it any longer.
If you cannot find your way to church on Sunday, I expect you to find your way to school on Monday.
Can't do that, ma'am. The teacher got killed in the sibling.
Oh, I've read of that in Broadside. He was on a Union supply steamer, the Sam Gaddy. He was coming up the Missouri River. Bushwhackers fired on the boat from the banks.
Yes, ma'am. Bushwhackers killed all the soldiers and stole supplies.
Lord, it's not seemly to speak of events like those today. This is a wedding day. And if you really don't have an instructor, well, then the commissioners just have to hire a teacher for you.
Yes.
You know, rapscallions like yourself shouldn't be left alone to wander the street. You're bound to find trouble.
Oh no, ma'am. Trouble. I don't find trouble. It finds me.
It doesn't have to look for it, does
Well, I never. Oh, that boy will come to no good if left his own devices. Why, all he'll ever learn to do is fish.
Or widow. His mama is the most superstitious person I know. When she is in the family way, she hangs a hornet's nest in the corner of the kitchen to ease the birth.
Well, you know, midwives also, they put knives under
My mama did put a silver coin in the hand of the newborn for luck.
Nobody has silver since the war, unless they buried it. Likely to be stolen by guerrillas or Union soldiers.
It's sad. Well, the love of silver actually, she killed my auntie. She sewed her silver spoons into the lining of her petticoats so that the raiders couldn't find it. She forgot about it. She got so used to the weight of that silver that when she tried to escape across the Blackwater, she drowned. Trying to escape those brigands that come up to the house.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Well, we never knew quite who they were. If they were Union or partisan raiders or deserters. Not many were wearing proper uniforms by that time, the end of the war. Some of them were clad in clothes that had been taken from a corpse. Anything they could find or steal.
speaking of stealing, I heard humbugs have been working the fair folk of Warrensburg.
Oh my goodness sakes.
What's a humbug? Is it like a beetle?
Honey, a humbug is a con artist. And you really are a very innocent child. You know, sensible people, they don't go over to that Robinson show that's in town. Sensible people don't go.
Oh, I read in the paper that the Yankee Boxing show is full of nothing but humbugs. They
That's
said
right.
to guzzle the audience and seem sure to get the job done. The preacher complained to the sheriff. He said that those humbugs are fast running that ends.
Oh, well, surely you don't mean they make it hard and feather.
I wouldn't be surprised that the sheriff won't say what he has planned.
That's right.
Oh, hot tar and feathers.
Oh, it's nasty. It's
Oh,
true.
now, ladies, this is a joyous occasion.
That's right.
We must not speak of such things lest we invite bad luck for the bride. Better any marriage than none at all.
Bad luck, no. She opened the door for herself when she insisted on marrying a Yankee, having a Yankee right here. You know, her entire family supported the Southern cause.
My sister Ellen loves him, and her father was his own father before the war.
That's right. She
Why, he's the son of Mr. Eads, the newspaper man right here in Warrensburg. Miss Ellen, she had a beautiful photograph in her wedding dress. It was made at Mr. King Farr's gallery, opposite a Stockton store near the train depot.
Oh my goodness, well, why hasn't Miss Eleanor arrived? It is very unfortunate to be late to one's own wedding. Boy, where is that carriage you arrived in?
How would I know? I ain't the one getting married. I just came for the stacks of cakes.
He is the next good.
Oh, what ails that boy?
I don't know, I just tell you. What do you think, Miss Elizabeth?
My teacher calls him a ring-tailed roar.
Well, I think that's about right. My goodness sakes.
Well, you know, this one boy and a helping hand are bound to come to no good end.
I wonder, he does seem like he's got something up his sleeve.
He always does.
I'm telling you, I can't abide all these Yankee soldiers in Warrensburg. I get cross-legged, taking little steps and big steps, just trying to avoid a whiff of their stench. They need to go stay south of town at that stock that's earmarked for service out on the plains.
Well, you know, the grooms guard with E.R. Clark. They come up from Raleigh and they're headed to Fort Leavenworth.
Yep. I reckon there's near 100 wagons, and there's a herd of horses and mules. And Colonel Potter, he's coming in, he's quartermaster out of Leavenworth. He's taking possession of them. He wants them fit for service out on the plains against them Red Devils.
I know you, Clell. You're figuring they wouldn't miss a few if they disappeared on a dark night.
You need to stop figuring so good, Tanner.
Clell, you gotta get control of that anger that's chewing a hole in your gut. The final battle of the war was last May down on the banks of the Rio Grande in Texas. The war is over. Now we gotta find a way to live with one another, or certain people start disappearing on moonless nights and nobody the wiser. And don't you be thinking you're gonna slide back to relocated stock. Time's past when we can claim the horses on our string are out in Missouri by Jefferson.
I always side to the right side of the law. My side as I see fit. You know, the soldiers best keep a sharp eye on them horses, though. I reckon there's next 600 head. They just might slip out from underneath them one night.
What do? Sit on a hill and count them? You'll find few men around here who risk buying mules with a Yankee brand on it.
I wasn't sitting on the hill watching them. I was having a picnic, and them horses were just down there. And somebody said I should really count them. But I got friends in Arkansas, all the way down to Mexico, and counted her right on her to plow a field with a Union Mark mule. And I'm telling you, I can't abide by a man that comes into town picking his teeth on stolen chicken done with stolen firewood and trying to push others out who had to do a little stealing to get there too.
Well, they ain't worth the risk.
Those feds, they best scoot on to Fort Leavenworth, not set themselves up in Johnson County. Did I tell you what they did to me and the other lads when they caught us down there near Camp Douglas?
Near Chicago?
Illinois. They moved us across the Mississippi. We thought they were going to stretch our necks right there on the spot. They had something worse in mind. No, they stole everything we had. Then took our clothes, wouldn't give us blankets, left us naked as jaybirds.
Well, how'd your greenback stay warm?
Lice? Lice was the least of my problems. That warden figured if he kept us naked, we weren't going to try to escape. Then the weather changed. Our prospects looked about as dim as a dead chicken. We suffered. It was bad. It was terrible. But I'm almighty glad to be wearing clothes now. But I'm not too particular on where they show up from.
All that time, your folks thought you were down in southwest Missouri.
We weren't down in Nevada until it became a good target for the pro-union militia. We ambushed about 2 years or so, and then the federal cavalry showed up out of Cedar and St. Clair. They got their short drawers all knotted up and fired up the town, burnt near every building to the ground.
Yeah, well, them redlegs, they fired up Columbus in January '62 for no good reason. Oh, Uriah Jackson, he met him at the gate there by the river crossing.
Yep.
Yeah, and he played his fife to delay him, and his slave Cato played his drums. Jackson told me it was the same song him and Cato played for his uncle Andy Jackson at the Battle of New Orleans back in 1814.
I bet that was a sight to be seen and a sound to be heard. And that's good country to hide in down there. Uriah Jackson's got him a mill down there west of Columbus, right down where the water runs real low. And from what I understand, he cut most of his millstones down off the river breaks underneath Osceola.
And pro-union Kansas Jayhawker, cussed redlegs, they burned and raided on Osceola. Just remained, as far as I can tell, executed 9 men.
I reckon them Jayhawkers got so drunk, they couldn't march anymore and had to be pulled in them wagons.
And they looted the whole town. Stole from people who didn't even own the slave.
You know, Lane's personal share out of that was a piano and a load of silk dresses. And tell me, what's an honest soldier going to do with a load of silk dresses? No, don't answer that.
Yeah, well, I heard tell they turned out women and children in a cold storm with nothing but bed clothes on. Some of them young ones died. Yeah, we made them boys pay when we raided Lawrence a couple of years ago.
Yep. Lane and Jimson committed major atrocities. That's what got me to join John McCowan, to join the Missouri State Guard. And I'm telling you, Tanner, I got an axe to grind. They hung my 9-year-old nephew and my grandpa in Sedalia just for being in the wrong place at the right time. Now hold on to your hat on this one. I told Archie about this here wedding.
Well, you didn't. Archie Clemens? Archie's coming here?
Yes, sir, Bill Anderson's right-hand man. He's riding hell-bent for leather from Kingsville right now to stop this degradation of his kin marrying a Yankee.
She can marry him.
Tanner, Archie would strut like a batty rooster if she'd get smart enough to marry a good old Southern like you. But Miss Ellen, oh man, I wouldn't want to get between her and she gets her smarts about her in a married mood that master needs. That's a place no man wants to be.
Well, I'd step in front of that gal any day of the week. But you're setting yourself up for a fracas letting Archie know about this wedding. I mean, Archie Clemens may profess the innocent look of schoolboy, but the word has it, he murdered hundreds of citizens and unarmed Union soldiers. Heck, Firefellow, he collected scalps and ears, had a whole string of them hanging on his belt. He cut off hands.
That's not new news. It was done on both sides, and it was considered trophies of war. Why, this building itself has seen enough bloodshed.
Yeah, Marshall Foster was shot in this very courthouse. Of course, Morris Foster was one of only 3 people in the whole county who supported Lincoln.
The Civil War began in Johnson County with an assassination, mine. Weeks before the rest of the nation went to war. My murder took place right here in this very courthouse. An election was held in February 1861 to choose Johnson County's delegate for the state constitutional convention, which would determine whether Missouri would remain loyal to the Union or would join the Confederacy. I was the newly elected county clerk. I came from a powerful Unionist family. I favored Lincoln. The previous county clerk, James McCowan, and his son Billy took offense when I was elected. James was a prominent Southern sympathizer. A shot rang out, and my blood washed over the wooden floor of the courthouse. A Unionist lynch mob led by Thomas W. House and William L. House forced the McCowans to flee for their lives further south. James would later become a colonel in the Confederate Army. Emory S. Foster, my brother, was appointed to fill my vacant post. He held a long career in service to the county.
Yeah, where you going with that critter?
You want to buy her? She's mighty tame. It feels like there's a batch of youngins in her pouch.
Patch of youngins. I tell you what, you take that there passing right up there to that group of white glove teetotaling ladies on that. They love them possums. That's their favorite critter.
Hey, y'all want to buy one?
Anybody want to buy this boy's favorite plate hat?
Come on,
No,
get that.
that's a waste of a good
No,
possum.
we're
I
not
got the hide for it.
Come on, baby.
Mother-in-law makes a mean possum stew. You whippersnapper, what do you mean bringing a possum to a wedding? That's as bad as a sack of rats you turned loose at the Christmas party last winter. Don't you ever come back in here. I'll tell your pa you needed a session in the woodshed.
Come on, son. Your wedding day. Folks, I know you came here for a wedding. Bridget hasn't showed up. And the bride is indisposed with her ribbons and corset stays. What keeps a woman from doing all that stuff is, does anybody know anybody like that?
Yeah, my mother-in-law.
My first wife.
I am your first wife.
Well, perhaps the musicians would like to entertain you with a tune or two while we wait.
In the room, Rosemary. In the room. In the room. What do you want to do?
Do Bunker Hill.
What's it key?
Hey.
And then I got it to
Mary.
Don't you agree?
Son, a large quantity of land is advertised for sale by the sheriff under execution. The levies having been made while the county records were gone. The numbers and descriptions of these lands were taken from the tax books. They're usually erroneous. You might be able to find you a good deal for your wages.
What happened to the county records?
Well, they were moved at the beginning of the war when Colonel James McCowan was with Price just before the Battle of Pea Ridge. He sent Muir and Perry to retrieve them from the second floor of this very building. Perry and Silas Cockrell loaded them into a wagon and took them to a lady in Centerview for safekeeping, someone by the name of Aunt Polly Hill. After the war ended, she was called to court to account for the records and claimed she knew nothing of them. Eventually, though, she found them. She said she found them like she was looking for some pigs out in the field.
A likely story.
Likely or not, but it saved her from further inquiry, and the county records were saved from possible destruction. Whether or not they are intact is an open question, but they are back upstairs where they belong. You can purchase that tax execution land and hire someone else to work it.
If I could find honest sharecroppers. I know processionist man hereabouts so filthy the buzzards choke around his stinking carcass. He won't work next to good honest men, for their sweat offends his sensibilities.
Son, you have to wait with words.
I've been too long in the field. I no longer wish to be separated from the lovely Miss Ellen. Once we are wed, we will head over to Fort Leavenworth, where we reside until I muster out of the army.
Good deal. A wise decision considering the unsettled times here. Folks are uneasy since a fellow was found shot over at Post Oak. Rumor has it that he was involved in the burning of James McCowan's home. James McCowan was a wealthy man before the war. The furnishings alone in the house cost more than $6,000. I imagine he and his son Billy, well, I shall speak no more of Billy, not today.
I see my bride coming out of her carriage there through the window.
shoot you.
Yes, Ellen.
He won't shoot her. Archie never killed a family member.
No, just unarmed Union soldiers and civilians. You were not invited to the ceremony.
Archie Clement, last week I warned you that I was determined to marry Master Hughes. He asked him while he was home on furlough. You take your men and get out of here.
No brainless blood kid of mine is gonna marry a Yankee. Look at him, he ain't worth a hoover.
I understand why you wish to insult me, but you cannot speak to my bride with such disrespect.
You ain't such a dog. I can speak to my cousin as I please. I've known her since she was no bigger than a boot. She ain't your wife, not until the preacher says a word. My friends here agree.
Yep.
Archie Clements, you keep a civil tongue in your head.
This is my wedding day. I have no wish to be a spinster. And you got it, if you got it in your head that you can stop us, you've been drinking fart juice.
I can stop you. I got your preacher tied with a mule horn. You can't marry a dead man.
Archie died much as he lived. On the morning of December 13, 1866, Archie Clement rode into the town of Lexington at the head of 26 heavily armed men. Fellow guerrilla Dave Poole brought up the rear. They stopped at the city hotel, bellied up to the bar, and drank their fill. A post-war order required that all men over 18 register for possible muster into the state militia. So the bushwhackers dutifully strolled to the militia office at the courthouse and were enrolled by Major Bacon Montgomery. Montgomery was a Union man and notorious for his brutality and cruelty during the war. Montgomery leveled a stare at Archie, and he ordered Archie and his followers to leave town. All obeyed, but 3 hours later, little Archie returned and resumed his place at the hotel. Major Montgomery sent a 3-man squad to arrest him. When they entered the bar, little Archie drew a revolver and cut loose on the men, then fled through the side door. He vaulted onto his horse and raced down Franklin Street. As he passed the courthouse, sharpshooters were ready for little Archie. They opened fire from the windows. Clement was riddled with bullets. His horse slowed to a walk, and his body fell, face down, in the dirt. No doubt many Missourians and Kansans breathed a sigh of relief when they heard the news, for Archie was well known for brutality. Like many outlaws of his day, his corpse was put on display so it could be photographed. Archie lies buried in Lafayette County. If his ghost wanders in atonement for his sins, I'm hoping that hate stays north of the Missouri River. I feel more at home south of the river, in my place, this place, that has seen triumph as well as tragedy.
Is there anyone in the audience that has the authority to marry somebody?
I could do it.
All right, get up here.
If the groom's family does not mind a Southern Methodist ceremony, that is. This young couple stands before us as a symbol of the spirit of reconciliation needed in our land.
If we are to live together in harmony, those who supported the Southern cause must be of goodwill and overcome the bitterness from their defeat. Union supporters must be of goodwill and overcome the policies of retribution espoused by the radicals in Jefferson City and Washington. Let us pray. Lord, we ask that you bless the marriage we are about to solemnize and all those people who will work for a peaceful and reunited future. In the name of our Savior Jesus, amen. Having no further delay, keep him out of here. If he tries coming again, send for the sheriff. And keep a sharp eye out. Now, it's been a while since I performed the ceremony, so let me make sure I have the words.
Preacher, if you don't hurry up, you're going to be reading over their funerals before you get to the wedding. Them boys are angry.
Keep them aside. Keep them out. Mr. Master Eves will now have this woman as thy wedded wife to live together after God's ordinance in the holy estate of matrimony. Wilt thou love her, comfort her, honor, and keep her in sickness and in health, forsaking all other? Keep thee only unto her, so long as you both shall live.
I will.
Miss Ellen Shahan, wilt thou have this man, be thy wedded husband, to live together after God's ordinance in the holy estate of matrimony? Wilt thou obey him, serve him, love, honor, and keep him in sickness and in health, and forsaking all other, keep thee only unto him, so long as ye both shall live? There being no further objection, please put the ring. There being no further objection, with the parents of the bride being deceased, so that she pertains to her own independence of thought and is of age and sensibility to enter into this marriage contract, I pronounce this couple to be husband and wife. Let no man tear asunder what God hath joined together. Now, if anyone in the audience would like to have some advice for this newly married couple, please speak now.
I know that my dear husband, the pastor, would say something wise, but the doctor is tending to his wounds from those nasty men. I do know that my dear grandmother, rest her soul, always said it was the quality of the woman who made the marriage. If a lazy man marries a hard-working woman, she will lift him up in the world. But if a man marries a lazy woman, well, he will not amount to a hill of beans. As it happens, both of you have the best end of that stick, and you will do just fine.
Make sure you hurry and muster out of that army, because once they get you to Leavenworth, you ain't going to see her again except for the Redskins out on the plains.
Oh, lovely bride, watch well the first moments when your will conflicts with his to whom God and society has given control. Reverence his wishes, even when you do not his opinion.
I had the good fortune to meet a French philosopher named Alexis de Tocqueville when he toured this great nation over 30 years ago. He wrote a book called Democracy in America. He made a speech and he said that the prosperity and growing strength of the American nation can be contributed to the superiority of the woman. Son, you have a good and honest young woman at your bride. These folks here and I wish you happiness and good fortune.
Let's have the cast. Are you done, right?
Yes.
Let's have the cast all come back in for a hand. I would like to thank you all for coming. I'm the widow here because my husband was killed at the Battle of Lexington, but right now I'm Lisa. And I have to explain something to you
that we had a little hiccup, let's say, with our hayride. How many of you are not planning to go on the hayride? Not planning to. Okay, so when I get finished thanking you all, the people that are not going on the hayride can leave if you like. We're going to have to put a truckload together, a pickup load truck together, and another pickup load truck.
I'm Sierra. I played Margaret.
And I'm Rosemary Kinderbrock, and I played Nettie Fletcher.
I'm Lee Baker and I played Pete.
Let's Frank and quick Bill.
Eventually I'll get it over.
I'm Bill Wayne, I played the minister.
Okay.
I'm Catherine Baker, I played Elizabeth. I'm Arna Smith, I played Ellen.
I'm Andrew. I play Master. I'm Henry Yeager, and I play 12, this young lad here.
I'm Scott Humphrey, and I am the ghost of Marsh Falls.
Me and this friend are the youngsters who did absolutely nothing else.
I'm Thomas.
I did watch the corner.
I'm Chuck and I played Kenny.